we go.
Hey,
What's happening?
what's happening? You got your hoodie, your Heroes hoodie rocking today?
I'm on brand. I'm on brand. I got the hero hoodie. I got the hero mask. I'm ready. I'm ready.
See? I see. Well,
Yeah,
thanks
what's
for
happening?
joining tonight. I
Yeah,
know
thanks
you're
for
a
hooking it up.
busy man.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Thanks for joining. So we are talking change and perspectives of change. And so we're not going to hold you long. 30 minutes of crazy, inspiring conversations is the goal here.
No pressure. No pressure. To be crazy and firing. All right. I'll do my best.
So, for those who are joining for the first time, I'm Jay, founder of Project Love Strong, where we are a nonprofit organization that serves the unhoused communities in our state, Nashville, Tennessee, and neighboring states, hopefully all over the world soon. And then tonight we have Sekou Wright joining us. Sekou, I'm going to let you do your own bio because I can't even talk as good about you as you can.
That's funny. I always don't know what to say about myself for my bio. Like I have this conflict a lot. So I'll say that I'm a professional creative. I do
Okay,
a bunch of
I'll take
different
that.
things. I think, yeah, right. I think that works. I'm mainly a writer. Mainly here in the pandemic period, I've been a playwright and a change agent. Thanks
Yeah.
to you.
Yes.
There we go.
I love change agents. You know how I feel about that. So let's talk a little bit about that. So we are talking change, perspectives of change with friends, and I had to have you on, of course, for obvious reasons because we've worked together collaboratively to provide to the unhoused community. And so because that's not your first niche in life outside of your all the things that you do that you just mentioned, how did you transition into becoming a change agent?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for calling me a change agent. I'll take that too. Like that feels good. And the transition was really unexpected and organic. I was my habit is to come to Nashville every winter for Christmas. My mom and my aunt are here. My family's here, and I I volunteered at my mom's church, First Baptist Church, Capitol Hill. Shout out
Shout
to
out to
them.
Gabriel.
Yeah, shout out to them. They've been good to both of us.
Yes.
And and I just volunteered for whatever it was they were asking for volunteers for. I wasn't really clear what they needed, but they asked for volunteers during the service. I raised my hand and I volunteered, and that turned out to be something that they were doing for the unhoused community. They brought in 10 unhoused men for a night and gave them food, shelter, clothing for a
Wow.
night. And it was about a month out from when I volunteered. It was about a month out, and it just so happened that the tornado happened
Right.
between when I volunteered and when I had to show up. And so the tornado here in Nashville was major.
Yes.
It did a lot of damage, a lot of lives were lost, a lot of buildings were lost. But for me and my family, it was pretty benign. The sky turned green, which was really freaky, but nothing happened. There was no damage. So by the time I reported for duty at the church, I'd forgotten about it, really. I mean, like I was aware of it in terms of the news, but it didn't affect us personally.
Right.
And then when I got there, I met these 10 men, and they were talking about trying to survive a tornado in tents and out in the world. It just boggled my mind.
Right.
And all the little things that I had been pissy about that week, that month, really shrunk in comparison to what they had to deal with. And hearing the stories, because even me telling it doesn't really give you a sense, but listening to this guy talk about, trying to get in his vehicle because that felt safe, but the vehicle being blown down the road, and someone else talking about the tornado picking him up physically,
Right.
and him being in such pain that he was praying for death, which I can't even imagine praying for death. So it just really grounded me with gratitude in a way that's never happened for me before. And so because of that, I decided that I wanted to keep working with that community, selfishly to keep myself connected to gratitude and to not take my life and the things around me for granted. And so that began a process which led me ultimately to you, Fancy Hero Hoodies. And so that's how I became a quote-unquote change agent.
Yeah. I mean, Because simply, what is a change agent? A change agent is just someone who inspires or basically inspires change from someone else by doing. So you have this doing movement along with the Heroes hoodie. And, sometimes we think that change is really hard. And it's not sometimes. Sometimes change is very hard, but sometimes it's not. I'm not doubting that change is hard. But what I'm saying, okay. So what I'm saying is that I thought I lost you. But so change
Yeah.
sometimes feels hard and it can be hard. However, sometimes change isn't as hard as we make it seem. And so for you, you were able to become a change agent by simply seeing a need and fulfilling that need, and then also feeling, wow, how humble you are, and how you want to stay connected to gratitude, that you was like, okay, I'm just gonna create something that says hero, and we'll talk about what hero stands for. And then whatever I make off this, I'm going to donate a hoodie to someone that's unhoused, someone that needs it. How hard is that? You know what I'm saying? That was, I mean, a genius idea, really. It goes off, the Bombas have a pretty similar format as well, but it's so selfless, to say, okay, if I buy something, then I can give something else to someone else. That's so easy, like, we do it kind of all the time with our coworkers, with our family. We simply go out and be like, oh, this would be so cute for cousin so-and-so, or, and we pay the extra money for it, or we, so we don't even gift it, so it's like, what is it sometimes to think in the small ways of how to like just give and change someone's way of thinking, or change someone's day, by giving them a hoodie, or recently you bought someone lunch that remembered you when we was out recently. So how did that feel? Like, that was a great
story. Yeah, that really touched my heart, because I've been fortunate enough in my life, in my many lives, to have been recognized before. Like, I got recognized once because I was in an off-Broadway play in New York, and I got recognized on the street, and I was like, oh, right. So that felt really good.
Right.
And actually, just to make it into the story that it is, I was in a jewelry store, and I was getting a custom piece of jewelry, and I wanted Sekou, just my first name written on it. And the jeweler was saying, but why are you just going to have your first name on it? No one's going to know who you are.
Right.
And right then, this woman was like, aren't you Sekou from that play? And I was like, what? That's what I'm talking about, right? So that was a whole moment. That touched my heart, right? But this is an entirely different thing, because I was recognized by a member of the unhoused community as a friend to that community.
Right.
Like, that was a day that I took my mom's car to the shop, and it was taking longer than I expected. And so I started walking around downtown, and I was wearing my hero hoodie, despite the heat. And I heard someone yelling, and I looked across the street, and there was this unhoused woman waving at me, and I recognized her from your event, Hoodies for the Homeless. And she recognized me from that event, and she came over and talked to me, asked me how I was doing. She told me that she was hungry, and I took her to the place where she wanted to go and brought her everything that she wanted. But just to be recognized in that way as a friend to that community just felt so much more amazing, to be recognized as a change agent by the community that I am trying to serve.
Yes.
That really touched me. That's I think one of the proudest moments for me of the pandemic, honestly.
Yes, I love that story. Like, and it's a different warming of the heart. Like, sometimes, we've all probably experienced stopping at a red light, or, passing a homeless person in passing, and we may pass them change or pass them a snack that we have in a car. But like you said, to know that you're out in the community and you're serving a set community, especially a community that's really seen as an invisible community. The homeless is not usually a community that people kind of congregate with. You know what I mean? It's not the community as you say, oh, I'm just going to go downtown and hang out with my homeless community. Right. It's not something that most people even consider volunteering to do. Like, we'll volunteer at a hospital. We'll volunteer with children. We'll volunteer with the seniors. We'll volunteer with the at-risk kids. But it's not often that you want to be like, I want to go out there and volunteer with the homeless. So it's a very
I have to give you props on that too. So I'm sure you're going to talk about your event, but I came to Jay's event, Hoodies for the Homeless, their third annual last year, and I came with Hero Hoodies, and we'll talk about how that happened. But after we were downtown in a very populated area helping the unhoused, Jay says very casually, all right, so now we're going to go to the encampment. And I was like, internally, I was like, woo! Like, okay, we going in. Like, we're going to them.
Yes.
And it's just so normal to you. And I thank you for that because, yeah, you don't, not only do you not think about working with the unhoused community, working with the homeless, you don't think about going to where they are.
Right.
And what I found by following you to the encampment is that there were many of them who were aware of what you were doing, but didn't feel comfortable coming out into the quote unquote public.
Yes.
And so the fact that we were able to come to them and bring us the services and the hoodies and the goods was an entirely other level of interaction that I'm truly grateful for. So thanks for leading the way.
Thank you. Thank you for being a part. And, you know, encampments, for those who don't know what encampments are, I'm new to encampments, fairly new, because in New York, you know, we don't have encampments. There's no encampments in New York. So when you live in bigger cities, or I can't speak on all big cities, but in New York, there's not encampments. They sleep in the train stations. They find different ways of shelter, you know? And so going out in encampments, which is like AKA behind the back of like the Kroger and the Walmart and like where the highways are behind those trees, those are usually where these individuals camp out or AKA live. And you're right. A lot of times they are afraid to come out into the populated areas. Sometimes, I mean, of course they come out to the populated areas and they seem to kind of like always like generate around the cities because that's where you can panhandle. You can get, that's where all the business people are, great panhandling spot. But also, you know, people stigmatize them a lot. You know, a lot of times people just fall on hard times. Like the guy who you mentioned who was fighting for his life during a tornado inside of a tent. Like that is unbelievable. You know, like
unbelievable.
The conditions are already tough. You're living outside, and then to have to fight a natural disaster alongside of trying to survive, and like you already have nothing. It's just so many levels of disparity that individuals like go through that is just kind of missed. And so to me, when I decided to launch Project Love Strong, it was important to me to meet them where they are, because in a place like Nashville, they're easy to be missed. If you don't go to an encampment, then a lot of times out here, there's no way of getting into the city if you don't live on a bus route. There's no trains. So, you know, it was important to say, okay, if I was someone who was unhoused and I decided for safety to hide in the back of the woods, how would someone know I'm back here? How would I get my essentials? How would I get those things? So for me, it was kind of like, okay, I know I can't build a building. I know I can't bring them into my home and to say, hey, you can sleep on my couch, but what can I do? And so that thing that I could do was, I could bring you basic essentials. I know I need a toothbrush and toothpaste every day. I know it's summertime and I need water. I know that it's wintertime, I may need a hoodie. So what can I think of that I, as a basic human being, will need? And how can I rally my friends and family around the idea of, hey, let's pass out basic essentials to people who can't get to basic essentials. And so it simply just started as that. And so as you saw when you came out, it's really like we all really just rallied together to say, here's this and here's this. And it's not a difficult transaction. They're not as crazy as, you know, we make it seem to be. They're really nice people. They're really genuine people. Like if you speak to them and learn their stories, you know, so it's just changing our perspective of how we see these individuals too, because that makes a difference. What would you say?
Yeah. And for me, what stood out, this is kind of funny and kind of not, but what stood out to me is at your event, both times, both the summer event and the winter event, I felt a strong sense of there, but for the grace of God, go I. And because, especially at the winter event, there were folks that maybe I thought were unhoused at first, and they turned out to be volunteers. And I made that mistake a couple of times, and I saw other people who were volunteers make that mistake. And that really underscored the idea that, we all look the same. You never know what your circumstances could be. And, you know, there, but for the grace of God, go I. And so, again, that really connected me with a sense of gratitude and a sense of not taking things for granted. And I'm happy that I was able to think of something simple that turned into something big in terms of a way to contribute to this community and be recognized by the community.
Tell the people what HEROES stand for.
Yeah, so what had happened was I was doing this, and I was also working at Fisk University. I I wrote a play. It's called Brown Boy Mad, and that was being produced at Fisk University. And so I was doing a lot of things at the same time, and an article came out about me that called me a hero. And I was like, ooh, that feels big. That feels big. And so to make it feel a little more comfortable for myself, I turned it into an acronym. And so for me, HERO is helping everyone reaps optimism.
Yes.
And it's about giving back. Instead of it being about, oh, I'm a hero, I'm a big bad hero, it's about giving back to others. And so that was the first thing that happened. And then I was like, I should wear it, because you mentioned my doing thing earlier. So right before the pandemic started, I got into the mindset of just doing, not waiting till later. The idea of now is better than perfect. Stop getting stuck in analysis paralysis, just doing it. And so I put that on a T-shirt, and then someone else had asked me for one, and that kind of developed into its own brand. So I was already in the habit of putting things on shirts. And I was like, oh, I should put the hero on something. And I was like, all right, I'll put it on a hoodie. And because you were doing hoodies for the homeless, I was like, I'll put it on a hoodie and then contribute to your event in that way. And so that was the genesis of Hero Hoodies. And for those of you that are just joining us and don't know what it means, it's basically you buy a hoodie for yourself, and then I automatically donate a second brand new hoodie to the unhoused. And I'm emphasizing the brand new because I came to your event with both used hoodies and brand new hero hoodies. And I came with a lot more used hoodies than hero hoodies. But the unhoused community, they gravitated towards the hero hoodies because they were brand new and they were still in plastic. And I realized that there was an esteem there thing, esteem thing there, because they haven't had something new in a really long time.
Yes.
So that was a big deal.
Yes.
So that was the genesis of hero hoodies.
So what someone said, what's the link? Is it
the link? Yeah. I created a new one that's even easier. It's because some people don't know how to spell my name. So the link is just giveherohoodies.com. Giveherohoodies.com. And if there's people who are interested in hosting a what I call a drop spot, a place where I drop off hoodies to give to the unhoused community, let me know. I've got 6 or 7 of those spots around town where I occasionally just drop off brand new hoodies, and then they can hand them out to the unhoused as needed. So I'm happy to do that, and you can reach out about that.
Yes.
And thanks for putting that in. Yeah, giveherohoodies.com.
All right. So if you would like to support, it's a BOGO buy one, give one. So if you buy a hoodie, you can rock a hoodie and know that he's going to get that brand new hoodie to someone in need. They are so comfortable. I love them. He also, what he's not giving himself credit for also is his brand also donates a percentage of whatever is purchased to nonprofits such as us at Project Love Strong. So we definitely benefit from it. For most people who are not familiar with nonprofits are we mainly generate our funds through donations and fundraising and grants. So every dollar counts. So thank you for your continued support. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah. So let me explain that, because I didn't say that, and thank you for the alley-oop. So there's the hero hoodies, right, that are buy one, get one, gift one. Yeah, go. That's what I'm calling it now. Get one, gift one. Yep. And then also there's these other ancillary products like, hero hoodie mask, and I've got a couple other things coming online. And the idea with those things is I give 10% of the proceeds to nonprofits like Project Love Strong, and I've been able to expand that circle of influence to other cities. I actually did a hero hoodie drop in Memphis, Tennessee recently, and in Louisville, Kentucky. I drove there physically and gave the products to women's shelters in both of those cities. So the work is expanding. It's really big. Right? I was trying to get away from big when they called me hero, but it's coming right back. It's getting bigger than I expected, but I'm very happy to be doing this kind of work.
So wait, for the summertime, are we gonna have T-shirts? Am I overstepping?
Yeah, no, you're right on it. You're right on it. Once again, you're saying something that I forgot to say. So yes, this has come up recently because I'm still in mine, but I got the AC on, right? I got the AC on right now in the car. But yes, I have to get over
I was going to touch bases with you after, it's 90 degrees.
Yeah, you good? You about to pass out? Yeah, I got the AC on full blast. Don't worry, I'm good. But yes, it came up, and actually the T-shirts are already done because what happened is there was a sorority in Louisville, the Zetas in Louisville wanted to work with Hero Hoodies, and so their colors are blue and white. And so as you can see, the colors of Hero Hoodies is almost blue and white. So I created a T-shirt for them for that drop that I did, and then that expanded to other colors. So they're already there. All I have to do is upload them to the site, and I'm doing all different kinds of colors so that people can represent their set, whatever their set is, whether it's a sorority or.
Somehow?
Yes, let's do a collab. You heard it here first. This is happening in real time. We're about to make this collab happen. Let's go.
You're the designer of all things. I don't know how to do any of it.
All right, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Cool.
Add that to my list.
Yes, and we can and then of course I gotta rock some. I can give some to my team so we can rock it on July 24th.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Let's do it. The launch of the Hero Hoodie T-shirt.
Yes. So we have 6 minutes. Thank you everyone who has stuck with us. Again, we're talking change with friends, perspectives of change. How are you changing your community? How would you like to see change in your community? And what does change mean? Is change a good thing? Is change a bad thing? Is change simply just a phase in life that we just simply have to go through? So we're just talking all things change. You do not have to be a change agent yet. You do not have to be in a nonprofit field. If you give randomly, if you like to fill pantries, if you serve in a soup kitchen, if you have never volunteered, but you have a passion to want to do that, continue to join us on this channel. DM me if you are in Nashville and would like to join us and collaborate. And join me if you would like to join me and chit chat about change, because I know that there's plenty of change agents here that would love to talk change and change how it may be in your city or in your town or in your state. So stay cool. You know you rock. I could praise you all day, but you know, I really appreciate your dedication to just doing so many things, especially because you're from New York, so we rep in New York, of course.
Hold it down.
It's so cool just to see that. I don't know how you felt, because I know that you wasn't planning on staying in Nashville. But when I transitioned from New York to Nashville, I had a sense of anxiety a little bit, because I knew that New York is so fast-paced and Nashville wasn't as fast-paced, and that the people that I would collaborate with wouldn't be as fast-paced as I am. So now that I've have another New York native, I don't feel as if it's so scary, because it's okay, girl, you're not crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody else knows what it is.
Yeah, I know what it is. And just to explain what you meant, and I know we're short on time, but I didn't intend to be here, but the pandemic happened, so I decided to stay and take care of my family. And yes, being here, it's a little bit easier to do things, especially when you're bringing the kind of New York energy that we have to just go get things done. So I've been able to accomplish a lot, and a lot of my friends back in New York have been like, you're doing so much down there. And I'm like, am I? I guess I am, because it's a little bit easier to get it done, especially when you got partners like you.
Right, and it's easy to get it done when it's not getting done, so that's what change agents also do. We're responsible for filling the gaps of the things that's broken within systemic changes. But that's a whole nother conversation. We could talk all that all day too, because that's really what homelessness or unhoused communities, it really boils down to a broken systemic problem. It's a system that can kind of be recreated to kind of form to where we don't have to have people unhoused. That ties into so many other health issues and so many economic issues. So much money that goes into taxes that goes to to these encampments. And it's the amount of money we use for Jefferson Street Bridge is being closed, I think, June 1st. So the amount of money they're going to use for Metro Police Department and whatever teams to come together to shut that down and clean it up, that could have been money used for a building to give everyone a single room SRO apartment, where we provide them with wraparound services and case management and help them to reintegrate back into working. So it's kind of these are issues that we as nonprofits won't ever really be able to change on our own, because the system is broken. But if we fill the gap as nonprofits and as change agents to kind of fill in those gaps to kind of help the system to even out, maybe we can come together and be let's all just get a building. You know what I'm saying? Let's just get a private investor or angel investor and flip this and help integrate people back into the community. That's my
for sure
goal.
And I'm new to this space, but it seems like this is ground zero for all the ills of society. All the isms seem to dead end with homelessness, with the unhoused community, and I've been surprised by that. But it is the place where all the other things that I do can be applied.
Yes.
And I've been looking for that for a long time, and here it is. Like, I can apply all the creative things that I do
Yes.
here too.
Absolutely.
And so the point to the viewers is you don't have to start a nonprofit to give back. Like, you can get involved with people like Jay who are already on that path, but you can decide to do something small, and you can help us, those of us that are already doing something.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't really take a lot of energy to make a small amount of change, and those small degrees of change add up.
Absolutely.
So, like, I've already been responsible for donating over 100 hoodies, 109 hoodies, which I am blown away by. Those are brand new hoodies that the Unhoused have, and it fulfills a sense of empowerment. And, by the way, it's no mistake that it says hero, because other people out there in the world will see them and sometimes refer to them as hero. I know that because it happens to me. When I'm walking around the city, sometimes people say, hey, hero. And so that is another sense of empowerment for them,
Absolutely.
too. So it sometimes doesn't take much.
It doesn't take much. And empowering is what we're here to do, because we're here to change the environment that they're in, to empower them to do something different, empower them to get to look for treatment, empower them to look for the different changes that's beneficial to them, to their lives as well. So we can talk change all day. Come back next week, Tuesday. We are going to be talking change and change with friends. Charles, Homeless United, is going to be joining us, and his story is incredible. So thank you guys so much for joining me and staying tuned with what we have going on. July 24th, we're going to be rocking downtown Nashville. Hoodies, not hoodies for the homeless, but tees and tea. T-shirts, fresh t-shirts, showers, haircuts, food, drinks. If you want to join us, let's go. If you want to send us stuff, check out our Amazon wish list. Connect with me in my DM, and we will be back Tuesday. Nice and cool.
And there will be brand new hero hoodie T-shirts at that event.
And
Boom.
we're gonna have our collab.
Boom. You heard it here first.
Nice and cool.
All right. See you later. Bye, folks.